During the recently concluded Abeokuta Innovation and Technology Party, hosted by Get Funded Africa in collaboration with the Ogun State Government, we had the privilege to acknowledge the remarkable accomplishments of Mrs Ola Williams, the country manager for Nigeria and Ghana at Microsoft. In recognition of her outstanding contributions, we proudly named a hall after her. Mrs. Williams also took part in a panel discussion moderated by Mrs. Ayodele Olojede, the managing director at Wema Bank. The session delved into the profound impact of Microsoft in Nigeria and Africa, the state of innovation on the continent, and the advancements in technology.
So that's why Wema played a key role in helping to shape what TFA has become today. So on behalf of TFA, I also say thank you to well done. That's what we women now we are known for. Well done. So I just want to say Microsoft, everybody knows that Microsoft is a household name. And in Africa especially, they work with government, they work with businesses, they work with NGOs, providing technology to support economic development efforts. So I want to ask you, under your leadership, working as the arrowhead in Nigeria and in Ghana, how has Microsoft presence and impact in the country, how has it evolved under your leadership?
Thank you very much, Ayo. Good afternoon, everyone. It gives me great pleasure to be here. And starting feeling as well, good to be back home. I grew up here and I'm really happy that I'm here and we're talking about technology, which is something that I'm super passionate about. To answer the question, I would first of all like to share Microsoft's mission, which is to empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more. And our leadership team, right from Satya Nadella, had identified Africa as a place where we can actually fulfill this mission in a more impactful way. Recently, I always love to quote what he said, that the reinvention of Microsoft itself will happen in Africa. Africa has the youngest population in the world. Nigeria, because of our positioning, actually also have a large population of youth. And when we have a youth population, large youth population with technology, I think we have the right mix for innovation. And this is driving a lot of investments that Microsoft is putting in the country and the impact that we are making recently. In the past, Microsoft was established in Nigeria in 2000, that's about 23 years ago. But in the last 4 years, we also brought in our engineering team, establishing what we call African Development Center, which is our engineering arm. That means we have Nigerians working in Nigeria as engineers and contributing to the global innovation that Microsoft is building to the world today. So African talents are actually contributing, are part of our global team that are bringing innovation to the entire planet. We have over close to 200 people that are engineers that have been hired by Microsoft, as well as, of course, our sales and marketing team. Outside of that, we also brought in one of our partners that is providing technology support to our users across the globe, called Tech Expert. And Tech Expert has hired close to 2,000 Nigerians. So we're creating a lot of employment. But we know that for technology is evolving, and of course, technology is also inclusive. You really don't necessarily have to have a STEM background or to have a computer science degree to thrive in technology. With the advancement in technology and the impact that technology is having today, we are in the 4th industrial revolution, and every industry is impacted by technology. So if whatever you're doing, if you don't have the digital skill, you might not necessarily be competitive in today's world. That provides an opportunity to really drive a lot of impact from a skilling and training and retraining capability point of view. And as a result of that, because we see the youth population in Nigeria, and we we're trying to contribute to how can we support youth employment in the country. Our Vice President, Rasmit, had a call with the Vice President of Nigeria, Professor Yemi Oshibajo, shortly after the NSAS, during the NSAS challenge that we had. And one of the areas that we identified to support Nigeria is to partner with Nigerian government to provide digital skills for Nigerian youth, so that they will have the right skills, the right tools, access to the right knowledge to help us to participate in more meaningful way in the digital economy. So today, we've signed an MOU with the federal government of Nigeria to skill 5 million youths in Nigeria, and we are partnering with governments, non-for-profit organizations to ensure that we bring that to light. From a startup point of view, I mean, if you look at Africa today, Nigeria has the largest number of startups. And a lot of, I think out of the 10 unicorns in Africa, 7 came from, and originated from Nigeria. And we've seen that significant uptake in technology playing a role in making that happen. And that drives our investment within the African Transformation Office to provide support for African startups. But of course, I mean, Nigeria, we know we take a larger chunk of that. And that also drove our partnership with Get Funded Africa to provide startups with access to technology, access to skills, access to mentoring and coaching, and access to funding with the partnership we have with venture capital organizations across the globe. With our Founders Hub, any startup today, no matter where you are based, whether in Abeokuta, Lagos, Samfara, you can actually sign up to our Founders Hub and have access to Microsoft Cloud tools that can help you to build technology solutions that will be accessible globally. The world has become a global village, so gone are the days where startup struggles to make their goods and services, products and services known globally. With our platform, and of course, with the reach and the strength that Microsoft have, startup can know that when they have a solution that is workable and scalable, it's Microsoft provide that platform to make it happen faster and in a very affordable manner.
Okay.
One of the areas where most startups struggle is funding. And that is why we really appreciate the effort of Get Funded Africa in our partnership to ensure that more African startups, Nigerian startups, actually understand that they have all the necessary help and support that they need to really thrive. Thank you. Gone are the days where you need to know someone that knows someone to be successful. Technology actually provides that enabling environment, the level playing field for anyone to be successful, irrespective of your background.
Wow, that's a power-packed response. Well done. And I guess, being here today, witnessing what Get Funded is doing in Abeokuta, and, Debo talking about the fact that this is going to happen yearly and all that is going to be coming out of this space is a testament of the impact that Microsoft is making, under your leadership. So well done. I also like what you said about the fact that Microsoft is investing in Africa, but then leveraging the potential and the talent of the young people. It's a case of Nigerians or Africa can only understand and solve the African challenge. So well done. I say well done again. So, talking about the various projects and the impact initiative that Microsoft has, they've been working on. There's one that particularly has caught my attention because I also see that you talk about that a lot on LinkedIn. There is the Airband initiative. I think it's quite inspiring in the sense that it's an initiative that is going to help provide or bridge the gap, the divide in connectivity issues. You're providing connectivity, internet connectivity to the underserved market. I think that's something I really want to know or learn more about. So talk about it, please.
Thank you very much for bringing that up. I think it's really important part of the impacts that we're creating in Nigeria and of course across Africa. One of the challenges that we have seen in uptake of mitigating against uptake of technology, especially in underserved community, is connectivity infrastructure challenges. And this is not a challenge that the government can solve alone. It will take public-private partnership to ensure that everyone is able to have access to the right tool to be able to participate in digital economy, because for technology is very inclusive. The more people participate, the better for everyone. And for us to achieve accelerated penetration of connectivity, Microsoft is also partnering with Nigerian governments under our Airband initiative to provide low-cost internet connectivity using unlicensed TV white space.
Say that again, please.
TV white space.
Okay.
TV white space for people to be able to connect. And this is really important because when you look at probably a farmer in Odeda or a farmer in somewhere in Samfara in the village, that their children can have access to connectivity with the mobile technology, mobile phone, and be able to consume training content. It opens up their mind for possibilities that could happen. And I recall one of the hackathon that we did last year, where we wanted to solve for challenges within the agro space in Nigeria using technology. We open it up to get about 2,000 responded so that we can limit it to, say, 500 to 1,000 people. And within 7 days, we got over 17,000 participation. We had to shut it down because we needed to ensure that we're able to get the best of the best from that, and it will take a lot of time if we have more people. What really inspires me more is the fact that we have not only people from the western part of the country with interest, we have people from northern part of Nigeria that also participated in that, and that shows the desire and hunger of average Nigerian. What is really required is that access to ensure that everyone is able to have access, and that's the gap that the Airband initiative seeks to serve. That no matter where you are, so far you have access, the right access to connectivity, you have your mobile device in your hand, you can actually reach the world. And I hope, yeah, we are achieving that. Of course, we still need more partnership to make it even more impactful.
Wow, well done. That's a very, very interesting initiative when I was reading about it. So one question that I want to ask you, it has to do with diversity and inclusion. So you sitting here representing Microsoft as a woman country manager is a demonstration of some, I imagine, deliberate effort and intent on the part of the organization to want to reflect its effort on diversity and inclusion. So tell me, or tell all of us here, how does Microsoft prioritize diversity and inclusion in its workforce? Maybe you want to share some specific examples or some specific initiatives around that.
That's something that is really top of mind for me.
Okay.
Because diversity and inclusion, for all intent and purpose, everyone, most organizations have realized that diversity and inclusion is good business. The more women we have participating in global economy, the more prosperous our world become. The women constitute about 50% of the entire world population. But today, based on statistics, I think less than 30% of women are actually contributing to global economy. And for us at Microsoft, even though diversity goes beyond gender diversity, but the organization realized that putting deliberate effort and weaving diversity and inclusion as part of our culture is what we continue to contribute for our organization to continue to strive and innovate. Technology is it's a diversity and inclusion friendly field. So it's really important for any organization to survive and to continue to thrive and innovate, to embrace diversity and inclusion. So for Microsoft, we have several initiatives. Internally, we have an initiative called Women at Microsoft that provides a platform for women to learn about how can they develop their career within the organization, have access to mentoring, coaching, to help them to thrive and grow. And also, in terms of policy that drives diversity, is also ensuring that during our interview process, we ensure that we hire female candidates that have the competency for the role. But of course, we also provide a platform for female talent to get prepared for any role that they desire to grow into. And that also defines the way our leadership team is taking this very seriously. Because today, I will say out of the five focus countries for us in Africa, 4 of the country managers are female.
Wow, please let's clap for Microsoft. That's fantastic, very awesome.
That is because the organization took a deliberate effort towards that. And when we look at gender diversity, it's not a zero-sum game. It's not about women replacing men. It's about providing platform for women to be equal contributor into social development, economic development, so that it will be really more impactful for everyone. We've seen so many of our male leaders actually championing the cause of growing more female talent within the organization. But our effort is not only limited to internal. We do a lot of initiatives to support diversity across the ecosystem. We have an initiative called DigiGirls, where we provide support to non-for-profits and even encourage employees within Microsoft to volunteer. So that's a work-free day for them. You can go into the tool and actually apply for a day off to go into community to provide girls with access to coding skills so that they can start catching them young, create that interest in girls to embrace coding and support for them. And of course, I've also participated in such endeavor with the support of my colleague. And also, we ensure that most of our programs, we target at least 50% female participation. In addition to that, we're also partnering with other non-for-profit organizations. We have an initiative called Women Textile Initiative that targets female from age 16 to 40, that irrespective of your background, you can also transition into tech field. And we're doing a lot with that, even with our LEAP program, where organizations can actually partner with us to provide apprenticeship opportunity for female talents to not only learn about technology, but to have opportunity to intern in such organization, and if they do well, they can actually be employed. And wow, we've seen a lot of that from our partners and customers.
Well done. Well done. Thank you. My last question, ask you, what trend do you see, in the direction of technology in the next 3 to 5 years? No.
The pace of technology is really advancing. And I say a lot of things, especially when you talk in context of, government or community or environment. I think for Africa, we kind of missed out in the first, third industrial revolution. But technology provides us an opportunity to really leapfrog, to be at the cutting edge of being a global power in terms of technology, especially with advent of cloud, artificial intelligence, and of course data and analytics. But it will require a deliberate policy from governments, partnership with private organizations to ensure that we do that. If we look at the number of jobs that will be available going into the future, according to LinkedIn Job of the Future report, technology-related roles will continue to be at the top of the list. So it is important that we start encouraging our children, the younger ones, to embrace technology. Even people that are already employed or have their own businesses, it's important that you understand technology if you want to remain competitive, because people that you'll be servicing are tech savvy, they understand technology. So technology will determine who is going to be the global player in the next future. Technology will also determine organizations that will be competitive. Technology will determine the individual that will be relevant in the global economy as we continue to advance. So it's important to embrace and understand technology, understand what is cloud technology, how can it enable your business, how can you also as individual, maybe your career, how can you advance your career, understanding all this technology. From, let's say for example, if you take a medical field for example, technology will continue to play a major role in healthcare. I was talking to a young man that used to work in Microsoft today. He now has a startup that provides access to doctors, pharmacies, right from your phone. So yes, we have limited access in terms of healthcare infrastructure, and this is where technology can bridge the gap. So everybody does not have to go to the hospital for every ailment. So from your phone, you can have access to doctors, you can have access to pharmacies, and be able to get treatment unless you really need to be at the hospital. So this is one of many ways that technology will continue to shape our future going forward.
Wow, it just feels like I've been to the school of Microsoft. And just listening from the deep well of insight of what it is that you influence, helping Microsoft to achieve and project in Nigeria is excellent. And I want to really say, well done. Ladies and gentlemen, you'll agree with me that we've had a very insightful session engaging with Mrs. Williams. Please give her another round of applause.
A loud one.
Thank you. Well done.
I'm very proud to be a woman. Thank you so much, Ma. That was very inspiring. And honestly, we aim to be able to do more. It's a great time to be a woman. I'm going to instill that. So thank you so much. But as she leaves, I'm going to ask everyone to just sit down. Mrs. Williams has a hall being named in her honor today. I'm going to invite Mr. Omololu Debo, her family members, and you'll be led to the hall, which we're about to unveil in her honor. For those of us in the hall, there's some entertainment coming through. Please don't go anywhere. Sit back and be entertained.
Following the panel session, Mrs. Williams proceeded to the newly dedicated Ola Williams Hall, where she unveiled the commemorative plaque and officially inaugurated the space. This multi-purpose hall will serve as a hub for various training programs and events, fostering continuous learning and development. We are honored to have celebrated the achievements of Mrs. Ola Williams and to have witnessed significant moments during the event. It is a testament to the power of collaboration, innovation, and the transformative potential of technology in driving progress in our region and beyond.